the distance, nearest distance, if you get the point. Now, here's the deal. Assuming this point is at 100 units away from the camera, so it's 100 units away from the camera, that's the last point. And being the last point, you also has to be evaluated by the distance. So if it's 100 units away divided by 100 units away, you get a value of 1. So pretty much you're talking about all the points getting evaluated over here getting divided by the farthest distance. So while we add it, we're gonna go ahead under helpers, get a add multiply, plug in the distance onto this, and what we're gonna be dividing is the farthest every single point from here by the one single output of here to from the farthest distance over here, and we get our division calculated. And what we should have now is a ramp pretty much that goes from 0 to 1, being that the values are put from here range from a value of 0 if you think about it, and this one outputs a 1 maximum value which divides everything from here. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I don't know what they did, but you get a 0-1 ramp pretty much. Now I'm gonna go press the M key on the keyboard. That should bring up my material editor, and I'm gonna go ahead and press the little diffuse switch, get a color, which is gonna be in my case a gradient ramp. And what we're gonna talk about is the U and V data, because that's all we need as of right now. V data is the one going up, and the U is this right here, and this is actually what we want as of right now, because we're gonna map colors through here like a spectrum of colors or some kind of stuff. You're gonna have all the attributes pretty much lying over here, and that's the colors that you're gonna be looking for. Now, to implement this in TP, we're gonna go ahead now, assuming that this value goes from 0 to 1. We know that in our material this value goes from 0 to 1, obviously 0 to 1, 0 to 1, as you can see, 0 to 1 and 0 to 1. Okay, well, it's really actually that's how it goes, 0 to 1. Now over here, what you need to implement is that same value data on a text map. So I'm gonna go ahead, drop in under helpers, drop in a text map color, but it's gonna ask for UV data, which is not output from over here. Now if you think about it, you have UV and W, pretty much XYZ if you think about it like that. So in TP you actually got a standard 0.3, which instead of being called a 0.3, I'm actually renaming it for you guys to make it be called UVW. So that way it's actually clearly visible as a UVW. And this, the X value, is what we want to plug the data from from the add multiply. So that should give us the 0-1 value to the UVW. And now this UVW data gets plugged into the UV data for the text map. Now we have no text map obviously, so we need to get a text map as of right now. So click on the none and get a new gradient ramp. And now if you go back to our material editor, and now you can actually just go ahead and click on this, and you can save from scene, and now you have the gradient from the thinking particles. All you gotta do now is, well, instance, okay, and edit these colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and edit mine. And once you got your colors all edited, I'm gonna just finish this up. You're gonna be having closest to the camera is gonna be red, and next closest to camera is gonna be orange. I mean yellow, orange, and the next one is green. The next one and the last one all the way to the back will actually be red. Now you could use a point in this particular instance. Actually, if you look at a small video that I got called the concentric, it uses a point right in the middle, and all the points get the value outputted from that. In my case, I just use a camera because, well, some ideas vary pretty much. Now we got that plugged in. Now we actually need to go and open up Krakatoa. So under rendering, render setup, well, this one is still under mental array, so I'm actually gonna go to assign renderer and change it to Krakatoa. And I'm gonna open up my GUI for Krakatoa, and I don't need this guy no more. Now usually mine obviously opens up with thinking particles, not as a default, so actually I have to make sure this is checked, or toggled, otherwise it won't render no thinking particles. Now if you're running with Fume Effects, you want to make sure Fume Effects is selected. But for my case, like all these guys are not really necessary because I'm not using particle flow. And I'm gonna go to my thinking particles group. So all I did was just right click and say thinking particles group, and I only have one group, which is the all group, and it's actually renderable. Now I would actually go ahead and render this, but I know for a fact that TP needs some channels like color channel, color data. Now position, TP can provide that. Velocity, TP can provide that. Density is pretty much like a default over here, and the normal it can actually work like that. And ID is TP can get from TP, but color, it has no color, so you have to actually map the color attributes onto this. So going back to TP, we're gonna go ahead and get under operators standard, we're gonna get a data channel, and the particle obviously is gonna be this particle right here. So I'm gonna plug in the particle onto this, and the data channel outputs on the very for us it's the data channel number is actually 0, which is the first, because you only got one data channel. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually click on my all group over here, and I'm gonna add in a color channel. So I'm gonna select the color and say add, but you actually need to rename this, because if you actually come and check on this, it actually has no name over here, and Krakatoa needs the name exactly as color, so that we can actually find the color. And now that you got that set up, what you need to actually do is show the color port for the data channel and plug in the color to that right there. Now if you actually do render this even straight off the top from the what you call it, without having to render from the camera, it should give you some colors. Well, it did render, but well, it has particles, that's for sure. Oh, actually Krakatoa needs light data, so you need a light inside the scene. So for one, I'm gonna create a new light, so probably a target port, so make it go up, point it down, and I'll make it not targeted so I don't have to see that thing all over. And now actually if I render this, what you have is, well, red particles in our case. It seems like something is not mapping out correctly, because all you're getting is either this particles over here or this particles over here. Now it is working to an extent, but not to the fullest. Now we probably could do a little bit of expressions and stuff, but what we need to actually do is this camera data that's coming into the P search, we actually need to normalize it, so that way you can think of this like you will center the effect to for the P search to actually do the whole search